Your attention is being stolen from you right now. Not by a thief in the night, but by every notification, every scroll, every mindless tap on your screen, and you're letting it happen. You're hemorrhaging the one asset that the wealthiest people on earth guard with their lives. Your focus is worth more than your bank account. And here's what makes this so dangerous. You don't even realize it's gone until you look up and wonder where the last 5 years went. The rich don't have more hours in a day. They don't have bigger brains. They have laser focus. They've mastered the one skill that multiplies everything else. And you've been trained since childhood to scatter your attention like confetti at a parade. Every app on your phone was engineered by teams of psychologists to hijack your concentration. Every social media platform is a casino designed to keep you pulling the lever. The successful warrior is the average man, with laser-like focus. In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose exactly how your focus was stolen, why boredom is the secret weapon of millionaires, and the single hack that separates those who win from those who just watch others win. Pay attention. Because the irony is, your ability to focus on this video might be the first test. The attention heist. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When was the last time you sat in complete silence for 10 minutes? No phone, no music, no podcast, just you and your own thoughts. If that idea makes you anxious, you've already lost the game. Because here's what nobody tells you about the modern world. Your attention is the most valuable commodity on the planet, and trillion-dollar companies are fighting over it like wolves over a carcass. The average person checks their phone 89 times a day, not because they need to, because they've been conditioned to. Every buzz, every ding, every red notification badge triggers a tiny hit of dopamine, the same chemical that fires when a gambler pulls a slot machine. What information consumes is rather obvious. It consumes the attention of its recipients. Nobel Prize-winning economist Herbert Simon predicted this decades ago. He called it the attention economy. And in this economy, you are the product being sold. Your eyeballs are the currency. Your focus is the gold. And you've been giving it away for free to anyone with a notification sound. Free attention equals poverty. The wealthy understand this. They guard their attention like a vault. But what exactly are they doing differently? That's where it gets interesting. The dopamine trap. Your brain is running on hijacked software, and you installed it yourself, one scroll at a time. Here's the science. Every time you switch tasks, check your phone, or click on a new video, your brain releases a microdose of dopamine. Feels good, right? That's the trap. Because dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. It's the anticipation chemical. It's not rewarding you for finding something great. It's rewarding you for seeking, for searching, for scrolling just one more time. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman calls this the dopamine treadmill. The more you chase cheap dopamine hits, the more you need just to feel normal. Your baseline drops. What used to excite you becomes boring. What used to motivate you feels meaningless. You are literally training your brain to need constant stimulation. And this is exactly why you can't focus on the things that actually matter. Your business plan, your workout, that book you've been meaning to read for 3 years. They all require sustained attention, which demands tolerating low dopamine. And your brain has been trained to reject that feeling like a body rejecting a transplant. If this is hitting close to home right now, hit like and subscribe to reprogram more of these mental blocks. Because what I'm about to reveal is the exact mechanism the wealthy use to escape this trap. Boredom is wealth. What if I told you that the most profitable skill in the 21st century is the ability to be bored? Sounds ridiculous, right? But think about it. Boredom. Every breakthrough innovation, every empire-building strategy, every million-dollar idea was born in a moment of quiet reflection. Not in a moment of scrolling, not while watching someone else's highlight reel. Isaac Newton conceived gravity while sitting alone under a tree. Einstein developed relativity during long, boring hours at a patent office. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Pascal said that 400 years ago, and it's never been more true than right now. The wealthy don't run from boredom, they run toward it, because boredom is where your brain switches from consumption mode to creation mode. When you stop feeding it constant stimulation, something remarkable happens. Your default mode network activates. This is the brain's creative engine. It connects dots you didn't know existed. It generates ideas you could never force. Boredom creates wealth, but you'll never access it if you can't tolerate 5 minutes without your phone. The discomfort you're avoiding is the exact training ground where your next breakthrough is waiting. And that brings us to something even more powerful. The focus muscle. Focus is not a talent, it's a muscle. And like any muscle, it atrophies if you don't use it, and it grows stronger when you train it. The problem is, most people are doing the equivalent of sitting on the couch eating chips and then wondering why they can't run a marathon. Every time you pick up your phone during a conversation, you're doing a rep of distraction. Every time you open a new tab instead of finishing what you started, you're training your brain to quit. Every time you watch a 30-second video instead of reading a chapter, you're telling your neural pathways that depth doesn't matter. You are what you repeatedly focus on. Cal Newport, a computer science professor at Georgetown, studied the most successful people across industries. His conclusion was devastating in its simplicity. The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare at exactly the same time it is becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. Deep work is the superpower of the 21st century. Those who cultivate this ability will thrive. Those who don't will suffer. It's not about being smarter, it's about being more focused for longer. And the gap between focused people and distracted people is growing wider every single day. But here's the part nobody tells you about building this muscle. The 90-minute rule. The human brain was not designed for 8 hours of continuous focus. And if you're trying to force that, you're fighting biology and losing. But here's what neuroscience actually reveals. 90-minute cycles. Your brain operates in ultradian rhythms. 90-minute cycles of peak performance followed by 20-minute recovery periods. This isn't some productivity guru's theory. This is how your nervous system literally functions. Sleep researcher Nathaniel Claytman discovered this in the 1950s. The same 90-minute cycles that govern your sleep stages also govern your waking focus. Work with your biology, not against it. The wealthiest entrepreneurs in the world structure their days around this. They don't grind for 12 hours straight. They do 90 minutes of deep, undistracted work, then they rest, walk, breathe, let their default mode network fire. Then they go again. 1. Set a 90-minute deep work block. 2. Eliminate all distractions before starting. 3. Take a 20-minute genuine break after. 4. Repeat no more than 3 times per day. 3 of these cycles per day. That's 4.5 hours of real focus. And that 4.5 hours will produce more results than most people generate in an entire week of scattered, distracted busy work. But there's a critical step most people skip before they even start that first cycle. Digital detox. Before you can build focus, you have to stop the bleeding. And the wound is your phone. The average person loses 2 hours and 23 minutes daily to social media alone. That's over 35 full days per year. Gone. Evaporated into a fog of reels and threads and comments that you won't remember next week. But here's what hurts even more than the lost time. It's the lost potential. Every hour you spend scrolling is an hour you didn't spend building a business, building a skill, building the life you keep telling yourself you deserve. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. The wealthy practice what I call strategic inaccessibility. They are deliberately hard to reach. They don't respond to every message instantly. They don't keep their phone on the table during meals. They create friction between themselves and distraction. Friction blocks distraction, not because they don't care, but because they understand that every notification is someone else's priority demanding your attention. And every time you respond immediately, you're telling the universe that their agenda matters more than yours. Your phone is either a tool or a leash. So which one is it for you? And speaking of priorities, there's an even deeper layer to this that will change how you see everything. Single tasking. Multitasking is a lie, and it's a lie that's keeping you poor. Your brain cannot do 2 cognitive tasks simultaneously. What it actually does is switch rapidly between them, losing efficiency every single time. Researchers at Stanford found that chronic multitaskers are worse at filtering irrelevant information, worse at organizing their thoughts, and worse at switching between tasks. Worse. The very thing they practice all day makes them worse at it. The irony is brutal. Meanwhile, the world's most productive people are obsessive single-taskers. Warren Buffett famously said his calendar is almost empty. He doesn't fill every hour with meetings and calls and obligations. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. He sits, he reads, he thinks, one thing at a time, and he became one of the richest humans in history doing it. Single tasking isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters with your entire being. When you write, just write. When you think, just think. When you talk to someone, be fully there. Wherever you are, be all there. This simple shift will multiply your output more than any productivity app ever could. But wait, because what comes next changes the game entirely. The silence test. Here's a test that will reveal exactly where your focus stands. Tonight, when you get home, sit in a chair for 30 minutes. No phone, no music, no television, no book, just sit there with your own thoughts. Most people cannot do this without anxiety. If that idea terrifies you, that's not a personality trait. That's a symptom. It means your brain has become so dependent on external stimulation that it literally doesn't know how to generate its own. And that dependency is what's keeping you from the deep thinking required to build wealth. The most successful CEOs and entrepreneurs in the world practice some form of deliberate silence. Ray Dalio meditates daily. Bill Gates takes think weeks where he disconnects from everything. Jeff Bezos intentionally schedules nothing before 10 in the morning. Silence builds empires. They're not doing this because they have more time. They're doing this because they understand that the quality of your decisions determines the quality of your life. And the quality of your decisions is directly proportional to the quality of your thinking. Shallow thinking creates shallow results. The mind that cannot sit in silence will never build in greatness. You can't think deeply while your brain is bouncing between 16 tabs. And this brings us to the most dangerous pattern of all. Identity shift. Everything I've told you so far is useless unless you make one fundamental shift. You have to stop identifying as a distracted person. Identity. Most people say things like, I just have a short attention span. I'm easily distracted. I need background noise to function. That's not a description. That's a program, and as long as you keep running it, your behavior will match your belief. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The wealthy don't say I'm trying to focus better. They say I am someone who protects their attention. There's a massive difference. One is aspirational, the other is an identity. James Clear's research on habit formation proves this. The most effective way to change behavior isn't willpower, it's identity. When you decide that you are a focused person, your decisions start aligning automatically. You don't debate whether to check your phone during deep work. A focused person doesn't do that, period. You don't negotiate with distraction. You eliminate it because that's who you are now. Change your identity, and your habits will follow. New identity, new results. This isn't motivation. This is neuroscience. Your reticular activating system filters reality based on what you believe about yourself. Change the belief, change the filter, change your life. And now, let me tie all of this together with one final truth. The wealth filter. Every wealthy person I've studied has one thing in common. It's not intelligence. It's not connections. It's not luck. They have an obsessive relationship with their own attention. They treat their focus like the most precious resource on earth, because it is. Money can be earned back, time can be managed, but your attention, once scattered, fragments everything it touches. Your relationships, your health, your income, your dreams, all of it becomes diluted when your focus is split. Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Think about that. The sun is the most powerful energy source in our solar system, but its rays don't burn anything until they're concentrated into a single point. You are that sun. Your potential is already massive, but scattered across 100 different distractions, it produces nothing but warmth. Concentrated into a single point of focus. It burns through everything. The wealthy don't have more energy than you. They just refuse to waste it. They've learned that saying no to 99 things is what makes the one thing work. That's the hack. That's the separator. That's the filter between those who build empires and those who watch others build them from the comfort of their couch. So here's your reality check. Right now, in this exact moment, you have a choice. You can close this video, pick up your phone, and scroll through the same feed you scrolled through yesterday. The same feed that will look exactly the same tomorrow. Or you can do something different, something uncomfortable, something that the 95% will never do. You can sit in silence. You can embrace the boredom. You can train your focus like the weapon it truly is. The discomfort you avoid is the exact place where your wealth is built. Every millionaire, every visionary, every person who ever built something that mattered did it by saying no to the noise and yes to the work that nobody else wanted to do. Your attention span is not broken. It's been stolen. And now you know how to take it back. Take it back now. If you made it this far, comment laser focus to prove you're among the few who actually protect their attention. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or poverty. Now you know how to reprogram it. If this video exposed something in you, subscribe. There's more to uncover.